Go, Matt.
We get set in the blocks, and the gun goes off, and I get out amazing, but the gun goes off again. Something went wrong. So where do we leave off? Oh yeah, choking at state. My collective disappointment after this race was super high. My personal Cinderella run came to an unhappy ending when the clock struck 12. But all that meant was a new day was coming. In the summer of 2017, this was my decision. So essentially I made a list of all the people I knew I'd see at the top again and decided it was time to come back prepared to compete against them. The goal? Become a state finalist, get on the podium, and have fun while we do it. So we went to work.
Set.
Me and the boys got up and worked every single morning. And when no one else wanted to come, I had to remember that feeling of failure and realize we had to get it, rain or sunshine.
Go.
That summer of 2017, I really fell in love with the process and this new little weekly celebration we did called Chicken Monday that me and the boys started. And I know it sounds super stereotypical, but that chicken from Walmart, it really hit different. We were just grinding and having a good time while doing it. Eventually, the Chicken Mondays turned into school days, and the track season was right around the corner. Knowing this would be my last ride of my then brief track career, I had to make this season memorable. And I really wanted to get myself on the different college coaches' radar, but I wasn't really that highly touted of a recruit. I went on a few visits, had a few offers, and actually even had a coach laugh in my face when we met once, but that's a different story for a different day. All this did was drive me to have an even better season. Outside of my unknown future in track and field, one thing was very clear about the present. The work was definitely showing.
Okay.
Over the course of the entire season, I didn't lose a single race until the postseason. And except for one 100 meter, but hey, I'll take it. And actually, a quick sidebar, at that same meet I lost that 100 at, I got ghosted by this one girl. So grab your popcorn, cause yes, I'm gonna tell the story. All right, y'all, so here we go. The meet was in Kansas City, and I saw this fine light-skinned girl. I mean like fine, all right? And me and the boys were talking, and the boys hyped me up, which is something you should never let them do. They was gassing me up. And so my plan was to win the 200 meter, have them tell her I was interested in her during the race, and then when I came across the finish line at first, it would kind of impress her. And well, the plan actually kind of worked. And right after I won, I kind of strolled over, got her snap. We talked a little bit. For some reason, which I don't know why, I brought up Black Panther, which was weird. I was scrambling for a topic, y'all. And I was feeling myself a little bit, I'll be honest. Only to not have her add me back at all and have the entire team, and I mean the entire team, roast me and fire me up about it. But hey, it built character. Anyway, after that lesson learned, the season advanced and we kept on excelling all the way into conference. Around this time, I was a little nervous because I wanted to defend all my titles and I knew people were going to be coming for me. And amidst all the nervousness, I still was able to defend the titles, and by God's grace, we won conference for the second time in a row, and going back to back is a dope feeling for real. Now, sure, my times were good for my area, but on a national level, I still had a lot of progress to make. And one day I sat down in my car after practice in a parking lot and decided to call the coaches at this small Division I college in Tulsa, Oklahoma called Oral Roberts. And thinking they wouldn't be that interested in me, I still decided to call the scouting coach to see what would happen. And surprisingly, he actually took interest in me. As time went on, I was assured by my now coach, Joe Dial, that I would have a spot on the team in the coming fall. I was ecstatic, and I couldn't believe I was actually going to get the chance to compete on the highest collegiate level. It was seriously only God for real, y'all. Now, as happy as I was about this accomplishment, there was still a lot of work to do back at home. We were entering the road to state, and it led through a tough path in Kansas City. So this is where it all counted. All the hard work, all the Chicken Mondays, and all the races in one. Districts came and bam, 1 to 100 and 200. Sectionals arrived. I got second in the 100 and sectional champion in the 200 with a new school record in addition.
Energy. I need your energy. This
Plus, my Uncle Albert came to watch me, which was a #priceless moment. Shout out to you, Uncle Albert. Love you. So now, I was headed to state in a much better place than last year, when I really only anticipated squeaking in again for the 200. So now, I had 2 opportunities to hit the podium. Alright y'all, so we pulled up in Jeff City acting like we owned the place in grand fashion. We were feeling ourselves perhaps a bit too much, but we were just happy to be back in the capital to do our thing. The preliminary rounds of my 100 meter was first. All the guys I said I wanted to beat were now here. Now I'm not the best starter, so I really had to close strong to make the finals. And in about the last 20 meters, I came back to steal the top spot at the finish. So now we're going into the finals for the one with a great lane assignment. 200 comes around, we get out, and I barely become edged out from first place by my opponent. But I still got a place in finals, and I broke my school record again. That night back at the hotel, I couldn't believe what was happening. We actually did it. We actually made it to finals. All those early summer mornings made this season a movie, and tomorrow was the final scene. This was the end of my high school career. The next day comes, and after a few delays because of the weather, we were on the track. First task of business was the 100 meter. I had lane 5, and the new, and again not an exaggeration, fastest kid in Missouri was in lane 4 next to me. We get set in the blocks, and the gun goes off, and I get out amazing. But the gun goes off again. Something went wrong. So what had happened was lane 8's blocks slipped underneath him, so we had to reset. And when the gun went off again, I just got out slow. I ended up placing 5th overall, but I still got a place on the podium. Mathew, Robbins. I had a fresh medal on my neck, but I still had one last dance in the 200 meter. Somehow, poetically, like the year before, I drew lane 7. It all came full circle. And knowing this was my last high school race, I wanted to make it super memorable. For some reason, this felt like the longest race of my life. I was fighting to try to get in the mix for the top 3, and then when I did cross the finish line for the last time, I finished in 4th. Back on the podium, I wore my medal with pride. It wasn't first place, but it was confirmation that I could really do anything I set my mind to, with enough determination and hard work. God had literally brought me from being a basketball player, struggling to get minutes off the bench, to one of the best sprinters in the state in less than like 18 months. And that's not bragging. I'm trying to tell you God can really turn everything around if you just trust him. His plan far exceeds ours. Believe me, if I never had that concussion, I probably wouldn't be where I am now. That's old Mathew, Robbins. As silly as it sounds, it's the truth. All things work together. And that's all this story is. A story of God's grace. I'm like, who this? Why y'all tripping off who this? Why y'all looking so? All right, guys, so that is it for part 2. I hope you enjoyed it. I know a lot of you guys were asking for the conclusion of the story. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. Drop something in the comments if you want me to do part 3 of my freshman year. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all for supporting and making it this far. And I'll see y'all next week.